Hey everybody, Aunt Cathy here, and I'm commencing here to put a little color in this fancy dancer outfit here. And what I have is a couple of colors here. My towel is dry, and I'm starting in the center of the space with some real thin acrylic, and what I'm using here is just house paint. And this little image here is called Fancy Dancer, and it's one of artist Kelly J's pictures. And she's got a coloring book page on Facebook, and you just go, it's called Coloring Book, and you can go there and you can download those pictures and print them out, and then you can color those. And what we've done here is, this is a picture of her Fancy Dancer line drawing, and I just laid that piece of paper that I printed it out on top of some fabric, and then I did free motion embroidery to transfer that image to this towel. Now this is twill, cotton twill. Now as I'm painting this, you'll notice I start in the middle of a space because it's going to run. It's going to wick out to the edges, and the embroidery stitches on this are going to contain it to a certain degree. They're not going to contain it completely, and there will be some running, and you'll have to kind of do some experimenting to find out what that's going to be like. Just like when you learn to color on paper, you find out how close to the edges you can get. Now, because this fabric is chosen to be very absorbent, you don't have a lot of wiggle room on what's going to be there at the end. In other words, whatever color you lay down there on that fabric at first that's going to be what you have. Now the thread is not going to pick the color up as much as the fabric, so you don't need to worry too much about that thread there. Especially the color on this one is embroidery thread, and it resists the paint. Anyway, I'm just using house paint here. This house paint is an acrylic type of a paint. It's water based, and you can thin it with water. And I just started with two colors here. I started with a dark navy and a light purple color, and then I mixed those a little bit to get a third purple. There, I've got most of her dress filled in there. I'm gonna take that lighter color and work on some of those dots on her outfit there, and see if I can get that to have a little color. Now once you get your drawing that's on your towel filled in, you're going to let that dry really well. Let it dry for at least a day. The drier the better. And then you're going to heat set it, and really ironing on the back with a good warm iron good hot iron is going to do that for you. kind of extracting all of the moisture out of the paint. Now, I do some other things that I can't really tell you to do. I use the microwave. I put these on a microwavable plate once they're good and dry, and I microwave them on high on mine for a minute. Then I turn them over and I do it again for another minute. It really pulls the moisture out of there. Anyway, after you heat set it, then I usually let that dry well again. You don't want to use steam for that. You don't want to put the moisture back in. Anyway, wash and dry then, and press it if you want to. And the water transfers quite a lot, and you're just going to have to play around and find out how much pigment is going to stay. Basically, we're using the acrylic paint as a dye, and I prefer using this paint as a dye rather than dye for a bunch of reasons, really. It's easy to get acrylic paint, and I started using this thin down paint because it holds up in the wash much better than dye that I can get at the grocery store. And I can bleach my towels if I use this on them if I need to. Now there's one little interesting thing here on this towel. There's bits of paper left under the threads where I embroidered it, and this thing's been washed a couple times, and it's going to take a while for all that to work its way out, but I'm interested to know what it's going to do to the paint as I lay it in there. I'm just using two colors here, a blue color and a purpley color, and I'm mixing them to get, you know, other colors or shades as I go. Now the whole idea of thin is so that the fabric will stay soft and you don't have a big rigid area where the painting is. Now there are special mediums that you can use when you're painting on fabric that have different qualities to them, and I've experimented with different things, and I came back to just using regular acrylic paint and water. And I think I want to darken that other side up just a little bit here. And whenever I lay down something, I'm going to go to the middle. And you can see here where that's running a bit, and I'm okay with that. That's just part of it. Now, you'll have to adjust your technique to suit your taste. Painting's kind of relaxing for me. I get aggravated at things at times, and I like to sit down and make something, or go outside and make something. My mom used to tell me to put all that aggravation to something useful. Now I'm going to go down here and make her moccasins blue. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm just dabbing. Dab, dab, dab. To deliver very small amounts of paint into that area. Now, I kind of like where the run has happened on the edges here. So I'm going to see if I can make that happen a little bit on the other side, just to get a little bit of similarity between the two sides. Okay, now that's pretty much it. Now this area where it runs, where it ran here, I don't mind that it has done that. That's just part of the nature of the fabric and the process of painting. So that's it. Now I'm going to let this dry for a couple days. Then I'll pop it in the microwave, and then I'll press it good with an iron, and then it'll be washed and dried in the dryer on hot. And then it'll be, ready to go. So anyway, that's it for today, and that's how you paint a blank towel. And you don't have to have an embroidery on it to paint it. You can just add color and design to a blank towel. And thanks for stopping by, and have a good day. Bye-bye.